Picture a heavily armed survivor barricaded in his bunker, choking on his own thick, bloody mucus as his lungs slowly drown. Imagine a seasoned outdoorsman collapsing in the dirt, screaming in pure agony as a blistering, flesh-burning rash wraps around his spine. Visualize a tactical expert completely losing his mind, violently hallucinating in the dark before a sudden fever permanently shuts down his brain. None of these men were killed by looters, none of them starved to death, and none of them were attacked by wild animals. They were brutally executed from the inside out. You have stockpiled enough freeze-dried food to last a decade. Your bug-out bag is perfectly packed with the best gear money can buy. But what if I told you that the ultimate threat has already breached your defenses? Spoiler alert, you are not alone. You are carrying ticking biological time bombs right inside your own body. Welcome to Primal Methods. Today we are exposing a terrifying survival paradox. When society collapses and the medical system vanishes, there are no antibiotics or modern hospitals to save you. And that is exactly when the microscopic assassins currently hibernating inside you will wake up. The extreme stress, starvation, and physical exhaustion of a true survival situation will inevitably crush your immune system. Once your biological shields drop, these dormant bacteria and viruses will mutate from harmless hitchhikers into lethal predators. If you don't know how to control these internal threats, your expensive survival gear will just be looted from your corpse. Let's dive into the silent killers living inside you right now and how they will strike when the grid goes down. Fact number 1. Staphylococcus aureus. Take a deep breath and feel that air rushing through your nostrils. For about 1 in 3 healthy preppers, that nasal cavity isn't just a breathing tube. It is a dormant military base. Staphylococcus aureus is a potentially lethal bacteria that peacefully colonizes your respiratory tract completely undetected. Right now, your well-fed modern immune system keeps it locked down. It doesn't attack you immediately because it waits. It is the ultimate biological sleeper agent. But imagine a grid-down scenario where you are forced into the wild. You are caught in the freezing rain. You haven't slept properly in 3 days, and your core temperature is dropping. The immense stress of survival lowers your biological defenses. The moment your immune shields are down, this assassin strikes. It moves rapidly from your nasal cavity straight into your lungs. Without access to modern emergency rooms or strong antibiotics, this sudden infection quickly turns into deadly pneumonia. The reality check is brutal. You are not just breathing the fresh wilderness air. You are providing free room and board to an assassin sitting right between your eyes. It is just waiting for the exact moment you become too weak to fight back. In a world without doctors, this simple nasal squatter becomes a rapid, agonizing death sentence. Fact number 2. Varicella zoster. Remember that itchy week you spent home from school with chickenpox back when you were a kid? You thought your immune system defeated it and won the war. Not even close. The Varicella zoster virus simply retreated. It crawled up your nerve fibers to hide deep inside your spinal cord. It has been hibernating there in the dark for decades, perfectly integrated into your nervous system. In your normal, comfortable life, it stays fast asleep. But in a true survival situation, your cellular immunity naturally begins to wane under extreme physical exhaustion and psychological terror. That is exactly when it wakes up. It travels back down the nerve path to erupt as shingles. This isn't just a simple skin rash. It is a blistering, agonizingly painful condition that feels like literal fire burning through your veins. The reality check here is absolutely terrifying for anyone preparing for a disaster. When the grid goes down, you need 100% of your physical strength to hunt, forage, and protect your family. But that innocent childhood infection wasn't a closed chapter. It was a biological credit card swiped decades ago, and the bill comes due when you are at your weakest. When this virus detonates during a crisis, the pure nerve pain will completely paralyze you. You won't be able to hold a rifle, chop firewood, or carry a heavy survival pack. You will become a helpless target in a highly dangerous world, entirely because of a virus that was sleeping inside your own spine. Fact number 3. Helicobacter pylori. Medical science used to confidently declare that nothing could survive the boiling, corrosive acid pit of the human stomach. They severely underestimated the enemy. Helicobacter pylori doesn't just survive your gastric juices. It builds a custom biological hazmat suit to thrive there. It secretes an ammonia cloud to neutralize the acid around it. Then it uses tiny appendages to literally drill into the protective lining of your stomach like a microscopic corkscrew. In your normal daily routine, you might just pop antacids and think that chronic heartburn is from a spicy meal or a stressful day at the office. But in a grid-down scenario, your diet will radically change. You will be eating questionable foraged plants, heavily processed survival rations, or going days without any food at all. Combine that poor diet with the extreme psychological terror of a collapsing society. Your stomach acid production goes into absolute overdrive. This creates the perfect storm for H. pylori to accelerate its unauthorized drilling operation. It rapidly excavates the mucosal lining of your internal organs, causing severe gastric ulcers. The reality check for preppers is that without prescription medications or advanced surgical care, a bleeding stomach ulcer in the woods is catastrophic. You will suffer from excruciating abdominal pain and rapid internal bleeding. You will slowly bleed out from the inside. And no amount of combat gauze or tourniquets in your expensive trauma kit can stop an enemy that is eating you from the inside out. Fact number 4. Bacteroides fragilis. Deep in your lower intestines lives a massive, essential army of bacteria called Bacteroides fragilis. As long as they remain strictly inside the walls of your colon, they are perfect, loyal citizens. They help break down the complex carbohydrates from your survival food that your human stomach cannot digest. But their loyalty is completely geographical. If the walls hold, they are your best friends. But in a true survival situation, the risk of severe physical trauma skyrockets. You could fall down a steep ravine while scouting, get attacked by a desperate looter, or suffer a blunt force injury during a conflict. If a sudden impact ruptures your bowel, or if a severe infection from contaminated water causes your appendix to burst, the situation changes in a heartbeat. These helpful allies spill out of your colon and directly into your sterile abdominal cavity and bloodstream. Instantly, this friendly digestive crew becomes a lethal, fast-moving infection. They cause deadly peritonitis and massive systemic sepsis. The reality check is that you are relying on a heavily armed microbial mercenary force to digest your lunch. They are loyal as long as your biological infrastructure holds, but the absolute second your walls are breached by trauma, they will eagerly turn around and sack the city. Without a sterile operating room and heavy intravenous antibiotics, this internal rebellion will kill a fully grown, heavily armed survivor in a matter of hours. Fact number 5. Neisseria meningitidis. We go through life terrified of catching deadly diseases from strangers or infected water sources. The horrifying truth is that up to 10% of completely healthy adults are already carrying Neisseria meningitidis in the back of their throat right now. This is the exact bacteria responsible for lethal bacterial meningitis. In your comfortable modern life, it isn't making you sick. It is simply colonizing your mucosal lining, waiting for a severe drop in your immunity. When the grid collapses, you will face extreme caloric deficits, dehydration, and severe sleep deprivation. Your immune system will inevitably shatter under the weight of survival. When that biological shield drops, this bacteria immediately slips into your bloodstream and violently attacks your spinal cord and brain. The reality check is that a highly trained prepper who survives the initial societal collapse might simply drop dead in the woods a month later. Without access to intravenous antibiotics, you will experience a stiff neck, a sudden fever, and terrifying hallucinations. You will fall into a delirium and die alone in the dirt. You won't be killed by a looter or a bear, but by an assassin that already lived inside your own throat. So how do we survive this internal apocalypse when the pharmacies are completely empty? The answer lies in returning to ancient, natural medicine. You must shift your focus from just hoarding ammunition to aggressively maintaining your biological shields. First, you must master natural antibiotics and antivirals before the collapse happens. Learn to identify and forage for wild medicinal plants like willow bark to fight severe inflammation. Stockpile raw garlic, raw honey, and oregano oil in your medical kits because these are nature's heavy artillery against microbial overgrowth. Second, you must prioritize deep rest and core temperature management over constant movement. Physical exhaustion is the exact trigger that wakes these dormant killers up. If you push your body to the breaking point without adequate sleep and warmth, you are literally inviting these internal bacteria to execute you. Finally, maintain strict field hygiene at all costs. Even when clean water is incredibly scarce, keeping your mouth, wounds, and skin clean is a matter of life and death to keep those bacterial loads from multiplying. You are not just a person surviving in the wild. You are a biological transport vehicle, and you are vastly outnumbered inside your own skin. If you want to master the true skills of grid-down survival, you cannot afford to ignore your internal defenses. If this video made you rethink your entire survival strategy, hit the like button and subscribe to Primal Methods. Leave a comment down below saying, "My shield is up," to let the community know you are truly prepared for what is coming. Stay vigilant, stay healthy, and stay alive out there.